Welcome, welcome. I am so excited to be doing this interview today. We are going to be talking about taking control of your health. If you feel sick, tired, or overweight, but your doctor says you're fine, this is the interview to watch. I'm so excited to have Dr. Laura Miles here today. We've had her on before for the summit talking about gut health, but today she is going to be talking about feeling your best, how to take control of your health, and how to be able to read your doctor's panels so you actually know whether you're in optimal health or whether you need to get some help. Hi, Laura.
Hello, thank you so much for having me back. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to be working with you. We've been working on this behind the scenes for a little while,
Yes,
so
we have.
I am so excited to be here and doing this. Why don't you share with the world who you are?
So I am a functional medicine practitioner. I'm a medical doctor and MD, and I've been practicing functional medicine for actually over 17 years. So long before all of the fad stuff that's been coming out. And I am the founder of the Functional Labs Decoded program that really teaches people how to understand their labs and know where to go to look for other labs that may be important for their health.
So that's a great question I have too, because let's say you're teaching them how to do these labs, but then at the end of the day, the doctor says they are fine. And they find things within the program. They find things that actually show that they're not fine. What would be the next step? What are you supposed to do?
Well, the first thing when you know you're not fine and your doctor's telling you fine, get your own labs. And then with the program, what we're trying to teach them is to look at the labs from an optimal perspective. And that's what functional medicine does. It takes a different view of the exact same information. And so you may be in normal range, but that doesn't mean it's optimal range. So a classic example is like if you have a B vitamin deficiency, the ranges are like 200 to 1200, and you could be within that range, but still be very deficient. And so knowing where it is that makes you deficient, you can come in, take those specific B vitamins, and start feeling better, get better energy, get better mental clarity. So the first step is understanding your own labs before you even go and look other places.
I have a lot of clients who they have done their TSH, their thyroid hormones, their free T3, free T4, and the doctors have said that they are normal, but they know that they're off. And what's really interesting is when you take a look at the panels that they had from the first time when they felt their best all the way up to where they're not feeling their best, they're still within range, but that number has shifted dramatically for them. So how would they advocate to their doctor? What would they say?
Well, I think the value that you just spoke about is knowing where you were before. I think that's really, really helpful. And a lot of doctors, you mentioned that they tested the free T3, free T4. Most doctors don't. They only check the TSH. So when you're speaking with your doctor, ask for a full panel. Say, I would like a free T3, free T4, and don't forget thyroid antibodies. There's two big antibodies they want to check: thyroid peroxidase antibodies and thyroid globulin antibodies. So the first step in talking to your doctor is knowing which test to ask for. And then the second one is to point out, look, this is a big shift. This has changed a lot. I felt great then. I don't feel great now. Now, a lot of physicians are very uncomfortable with giving medication or giving recommendations, because just because those numbers are off doesn't mean it's a thyroid problem. It can be other problems. If your iron's low, if your adrenals, which are your stress gland, if you're super stressed, that can affect the thyroid. So it's kind of stepping back and looking at the bigger picture. But when those numbers start getting off, you know something's going on and you need to go deeper. So you can ask the doctor, so, well, can I check my iron level, which I use ferritin level because kind of my gold standard. May I check some of my nutrients to see where they are? And that starts the conversation of letting your doctor know that you're serious, that you're not feeling good and you're not depressed. You don't need an antidepressant. You just need some guidance and some help to feel better.
Mhm. And I find that a lot as well with women that come to me. They say that they've spoken with their doctor, and one of the number one things their doctors say is, "This just happens with age," or "You're in menopause now, so this is how you should feel." How should they advocate for themselves in this scenario?
Well, if you've got a doctor that's saying that, they've already shut the door, so that gets hard. I think that if you have a really good relationship with them, just saying, well, I understand that I'm getting older, but I still think there's ways to make my health more optimal. So can we just talk about that and try to go that route? It is very difficult if you have a physician that's their model, and that's how we're all trained. So it's not that that's unusual. In fact, that's more the norm. So you may have to find somebody. I mean, keep your doctor, because you're going to need a really good doctor in your wheelhouse. But maybe you find somebody who's a little bit more open to working through those things and realizing that just because everything's normal doesn't mean it's optimal.
Mhm. So you were talking about somebody, a client of yours that did your program that ended up having heart disease and didn't know it. What would be the
Yeah.
signs of underlying issues? Because this is a big thing. You think you're healthy. We're working so hard at being our healthiest. And I find that sometimes there's this shock that comes. It's like, I've done everything. I've been so healthy. I've been working on my health. I think we all want to be our most optimal health. And so when things sneak up on us, we think it's a huge surprise, and it's a shock,
Right.
as well as dealing with the disease. So what are these signs that we need to be looking for?
Well, that's what the scary part is, Alicia. There are no signs. It's
Mm,
literally you just suddenly have a problem. And it didn't just occur. That's been happening for 5, 10 years leading up to that. So you have to look deeper, more closely into the blood work. So with this particular person, it was amazing because she had had her regular lipid panel done for years. And when she took the course and went back and looked at that panel, she's like, oh no, these numbers aren't
mhm,
good. So she had the list that I had given of the extra tests to tick in the cholesterol panel. And it goes a lot deeper than your regular lipids. She actually took that list to her doctor and said, would you do these tests for me? And he said, well, sure. So he ordered the test. He was very agreeable. And together he saw those and he went, oh, wow, this isn't good. So then she went and did a calcium heart score. And that's where she discovered she already had plaque with normal cholesterol levels, because her levels were quote unquote normal. But when she went deeper, she discovered, oh gosh. So they got very aggressive in getting her cholesterol levels down. She started a weight loss program. She started taking care of herself. She started some supplements. She didn't even get on medication, but she started some of the things that we had talked about in the program. And she's hoping that that's going to get it down. And I do think it's going to make a big difference. The numbers will tell when she retests. So just because you have no symptoms
mhm.
doesn't mean you're in optimal health. And that's one of the biggest takeaways from the program.
I absolutely love that. Yeah, I think it's really arming ourselves to be as healthy as we can be. And
Right.
there's only
Right.
so much that we can know from how we feel. With the people that enter into your program, what are the most common symptoms that they come to you with?
I think there are several that seem to be repetitive. Obviously, fatigue is probably one of the number one, and you're just tired of being tired. And they'll say, "Oh, well, you're working hard," or if they're younger, you have small children, or it is your age. Just expect it. Well, unless you're 80 or 90, okay, I'll give you that you need to be a little bit tired, or you may be a little bit tired. But up until then, you should have the energy that you want to have, or the energy that you used to have. So that's a really, really big one. And then the other one is that resistant weight loss.
Mm,
And traditional medicine just, oh, we've gone through menopause, just expect it. Well, you don't have to expect it when you go through menopause. You can have those hormonal shifts and not be packing on the pounds, because usually that uncovers there's something else going on. What is it?
mhm.
And so you have to start looking in the other hormonal areas. And that's where you go look at your thyroid. You go and look at insulin resistance. Insulin resistance is so common in the menopausal time. And when you really start addressing that, that's when things start shifting. And I know this is something you do in your programs too, that you're really, really in tune to that after 50 weight gain and what do you need to do to change your nutrition? What do you need to do to change your exercise? So all of those things become very, very important.
Mhm. Yes. Yeah, I see insulin resistance a lot, but a lot of people's first thought is, okay, I'll just cut out carbs altogether, which creates a whole different set of
Right.
issues.
That just backfires, doesn't it?
That it does. It totally does because you need the nutrients. Yes.
But
Wait,
insulin resistance will be missed in regular blood work because most physicians will just check a fasting glucose and they say, oh, you're fine. Well, you're not fine because that's one snapshot in time. And you can fake a fasting glucose. If you eat really healthy the day before, that fasting glucose may be really good. So a hemoglobin A1C gives you a 3-month average. You can still miss insulin resistance with the hemoglobin A1C. Now, the higher the number toward that upper limit of the reference range will tip you off, but you can still miss it. So there's some very specific labs that you can do to try to flush out that insulin resistance. And guess what? You even get to read between the lines on those tests because, as always, it also depends on your body. So if you have levels, from 10 years ago to levels now, and they've increased by 10 to 15 points, you are becoming more insulin resistant for you. And that plays a huge, huge factor.
Oh, that is so interesting. And so
Mhm.
what about fatigue? What is the common reason why you find with your clients they feel fatigue when they're looking at their panels or when you sit down with them?
Boy, that's a loaded question. I could have 10 people in front of me, and all 10 of them will have a different reason. So the first place we start is, health is personal. So it's figuring out what's going on with that particular person. Now, in my program, I start out with basically, I give everybody my standard panel of what I order to start with. Okay. But then I use their history. And this is where people kind of gloss over their symptoms and they go, oh, I've had that forever. Well, and they don't think that their gut issues are tied to their fatigue. But they can be. So you really have to go through every single piece, and then that points you to where you are. But you start out with the blood work and you go, okay, let's optimize everything there. And when it's all optimal and you're still tired, then you start looking at the extra things. So, how are the adrenals? If you have lots of stress, you're not sleeping well, then we know the adrenals are probably a factor. If your gut's not healthy, what's going on with the gut? Do you have bowel overgrowth, yeast overgrowth, food sensitivities? Is there inflammation? Is there something else going on with the gut? Then we go even deeper. Is there mold? Do you have mold? Ever been in a moldy house, a moldy building that you worked? And then that's when your symptoms started. So there's so many different directions. There's Lyme's, there's viruses, there's autoimmune, there's inflammation. All of those things are factors into fatigue. And we think it's a simple thing, but it's really not. You just have to start taking the steps and then, optimize what you find, and then if you're still tired, you keep looking.
Yes, I think that's a thing. I think a lot of people and I get it too. If everyone's telling you you're fine and okay, after a while you kind of give up. There's some people that feel
Do.
hopeless, that feel like everything here is supposedly okay. I guess I just have to
Right.
live this way. And I think that's sad because especially with your course, what you're showing is that you don't have to live this way. You can get your energy back and your strength back and your health back.
Absolutely. One of the reasons I created the program to begin with was because, on average, by the time somebody comes to see me, they've seen about 4 to 5 doctors who've told them they're fine. And so, and half the time they come in with the lab work that their other doctors have done, and I can take one look at it and already say, well, you're not fine. Here's why. Let's change this, optimize this, and then let's go look here. And within 6 weeks, they're different people. And it was just that fast that if you know you're not feeling good, regardless how many times somebody has said you're fine, just keep looking because trust your own body, trust your own intuition. I mean, every single one of my patients who've gone through that have said, oh gosh, I just knew something was off. And they trusted it because they kept looking. But there's lots of people who didn't. And that's one of the reasons why I created the program, was maybe to reach more people that are tired of, going to the doctors to be told, they're fine. So they can educate themselves to know, okay, maybe I need to look here. Maybe I need to do this test. Maybe I need to, do something different here. So they can actually have that kind of advocacy for themselves and not be just pigeonholed into, oh, you're okay.
Yes. And I loved that you said just that you have to keep on fighting for
Right.
yourself. And there are some people that give up and other people that fight for it. And what I loved about that was it's so important to keep on pushing, to keep on. If you know
Right.
you're not feeling well, if you know that something's off, maybe your weight or, you're feeling really tired, even when you're doing all of the things right, it's so
Right.
important to continue to advocate for yourself. And I get how it can get hard. It can feel lonely too when you're
Yeah.
you start to wonder, is there something wrong with me? But
Right. And they start feeling like they're crazy. I hear that a lot. Gosh, I felt like I was making things up.
mhm,
And I was like, well, you're not, you're really tired.
yeah,
Yes, I am.
mhm,
But I really thought I was just making things up because my doctor keeps telling me, my doctors keep telling me I'm fine.
mhm.
And you're not making things up. Trust your own body. Your body's telling you things. Listen to it.
Yes, I love that. I love that. And I love that you have that course. For all of my clients inside Over 50 Fit and Fabulous, you will be getting the first module as a bonus inside.
Yeah.
For everyone, however, right now, Dr. Laura Miles has her program open. Your doors are open as we speak. Is that right?
Yes, it will be. Absolutely. Just
Perfect.
for a short period of time, though.
Just for a short period of time. So if you are interested in learning more about her program and how to properly assess yourself, take control of your health so that you feel energized again, you lose the weight, you feel strong again, and you understand, I think, how to advocate for yourself, really. Is that,
Yes.
yes, okay.
Absolutely. And
So,
it's understanding your symptoms and knowing how when you say advocate for yourself, I think it's important, a lot of people just say, well, you just kind of have to speak up and keep saying I'm not feeling good. But what this program does is it gives you direction to help lead the doctor.
mhm,
What about this? Can we test for this?
mhm,
Because the doctors, I mean, they know this stuff, but in 5 minutes, it's really hard to kind of get down to the nitty gritty. And so in functional medicine, it's easier because we spend an hour, but you have to kind of feed the doctor what you're thinking, where you're thinking you're going to kind of get the test and, elicit those responses of, okay, oh, well, we need to look here. I didn't know you were having that problem. And so it kind of gives you more solid ground
mhm.
on how to approach your physician.
Perfect. I love that. The link for the program is in the description. If the doors aren't open, still sign up because Dr. Laura Miles will send you a message that the doors are open. Is that right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And be sure and use your special discount code because anyone who signs up with your discount code will get a discount.
Yay, you get a discount if you watch
Yeah.
this. Wonderful. I will also put that discount code below. What is your final message to everybody before we decide to hang up?
And my final message is that, first of all, realize your health is personal and you know your body better than anybody. So trust your intuition. And if you're having symptoms, go after it, figure out what's going on. If you're just curious and you want to learn more about having optimal health, or you've had a horrible family history of heart disease or diabetes, and you're worried that you're having that, but your doctor's saying you're fine, go deeper, look deeper into things. Be your own advocate to take control of your health.
I love that. The link for the program is in the description below. And
Yes.
thank you so much
Good.
for being here.
Thank you so much.